Welcome to the Pintastic Podcast, a podcast about growing profitability the right way with sustainable systems so you can be found first without tantrums over tech and trading sleep for success. Prepare yourself for mind-blowing discussions and actionable tips focused on Pinterest strategies, funnel marketing, and everything in between with your host, Laura Reich. So let's make Pinterest profitable for you.
Hey, welcome back, Pinterest rock stars. Today, we are going to dive into all things creating leads for blog posts. And if you have an opt-in, whether you call it a lead magnet, a freebie, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. That is going to be our focus today. And so today, I brought in Tereza, and she is a former globe-trotting corporate auditor who first crashed and burned as an online entrepreneur, but now reveals her inside out strategy that's transforming how projectors build businesses that actually energizes them. We're going to touch on some of this today as we go over her blog and her opt-in. Welcome, Tereza.
Hi, Laura.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look at what we have on the Pinterest account. Why don't you give me a background on kind of what your main goal is with what you have on Pinterest right now?
Yeah. So basically, the main goal is to create traffic towards my blog, right? And to get some people into my lead magnet, right? I currently have 2 lead magnets, but one of them is like kind of evergreen. So that's like the main focus.
Awesome. Okay. So you already have this Pinterest account. How long have you had it set up?
Not really long, I would say. So I have started, I'm not sure, like maybe 4-6 weeks ago, I would say.
Okay. Perfect. So let's start with the focus of pin designs. So one of the things that when you have a very specific goal in a very specific direction, you want to focus on the batch creation of pin designs and then scheduling them. So that way you can do it faster and make sure that you have the content spaced out long enough so that it can pick up that traction, right? So when we're looking at the designs here, one of the things I want to bring in is what keywords are we trying to focus on? So if I were to click on this pin right here, can you talk to me about what was the design process or thoughts on when you put this together and what your goal was with this specific pin?
So this one is more of that inspiration type, I would say. I think it's leading to the blog, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just to raise the awareness about projector business and how the fact that you are operating out of alignment does not equal that you don't need to do anything.
Awesome. So I love the layout of the top part of your blog here. One of the things I do want to mention is it's actually not best practices to lead directly to the blog category as a whole. You want to make sure that you are focused on the individual posts. And so even if you are doing inspiration like this and it's not specific to a keyword, you want to make sure that you are focusing this link to be optimized for what is going to relate the most to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when we're looking at some of these, is this one, I'm assuming, goes direct to a blog post right now?
This one goes directly to the landing page. Upcoming free workshop.
Awesome. Okay. So this is the blog post here and information for the workshop and things like that. So one of the things that we want to focus on is how is this pin actually pulling up in searches? So why projector marketing fails, the truth no one's telling you, very catchy. It does have a subtle call to action like the truth no one's telling you. So I do love that. One of the things that I want to bring up for awareness is all of our pins can be visually searched. And so when we're looking at this right now, if I highlight this entire pin, we want to make sure that it's showing up with other things that are going to be highly relative to what this pin is about. So this is the pin specifically that we're looking at. And when I click explore, it will give us all of these pins around based on looking at the pin as a whole. So when you're looking at these pins under more to explore, does this align with what content you are leaning to?
Not all of them, I would say.
Then what I want to focus on is we can do another visual search just to this title. And these don't, to me, scream that they are aligned, but is there any of these that are aligned with the title?
Yeah, I would say anything that's like email marketing strategy or smart ink marketing might be relevant.
And so we want to focus on marketing fails in general with this pin, correct?
Yes, basically. Yeah.
Perfect. So then when we're looking at keywords, what I would like to suggest is that the title here is not necessarily hitting on the full aspect of what you talk about in the landing page, right? And so when you think about where you're leading them, what is the first thing? Let's say without going so specific into projector marketing, if it were for anybody, what is the first thing you want them to know from this specific link? So what are you trying to teach them, educate them on, help them understand with this link that we're leading to?
Well, basically, they are not broken, and the things they have tried might have not been right for them.
Okay. And so in your workshop for this landing page, what is two things that they're going to get out of that workshop?
They will actually get the specific strategies that work for projectors specifically. And we will debunk the myths that are around marketing for projectors.
Awesome. Okay. So one of the things that we'll look at is we're going to go in and look at Pinterest as a whole and go up to the search. And I really want to focus on like the projector energy type, right? Because that is something that's really going to call them in. And so when we're looking up like human design, we can look up and start to see, okay, projector energy is very, very specific. So what if we do human design marketing and see if there's something that pulls up talking specifically about human design and how to incorporate that into your marketing, right? And so right here, marketing by design, projector. I like this top pin, marketing mistakes human design generators make. So you could do something similar to marketing mistakes human design projectors make, right? And so when you are looking at finding what's already online, you want to try to find out what people are already searching for the content that you're trying to offer, right? So projector success keys, right? How to thrive and succeed as a projector. And so even though you're talking about marketing, you're going to want to focus on things that are going to be very aligned for projectors, not necessarily marketing, not necessarily like email marketing or getting that specific, because they're already going to be very narrowed in if they are a projector and they're already searching this, right? And so one of the things you can do is you can start to look at what are the keywords around human design projectors and how to be able to grow that awareness more around your content. Like human design projector strategy guide. You could do projector marketing strategy guide. This one's content creation for human design projectors. You could do content creation, email marketing, marketing strategies, how to not get burnt out in marketing for human design projectors. And so this, I think, more closely aligns with what you're trying to do on that specific pin and where you're trying to align them to. Does that make sense?
So you're basically saying, if I understand it correctly, to kind of not niche down the post, but rather open it up a little more to kind of get more people in, right?
So it's not necessarily not niching down or opening it up more. I think the more aligned way of stating it is the right terms that niche down individual is searching. They've already self-selected who they are, but you need to find the exact source of where they are on the platform. When you're typing in email marketing or marketing fails, that's not necessarily going to bring in the projectors themselves. And so we want to make sure that we know that the projectors, who they are on Pinterest and what are they actually searching for. Then when we find that, we want to use that as our key terms for what we do on our Pinterest designs to make sure that this is shown to the right people at the right time.
Okay.
Does that make sense in terms of like the keywording of the designs?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Awesome. So one of the other things that I like to do is I want to see if I can look at some of your boards because that's also going to be helpful in terms of who you're targeting, right? And so on your account, you do have like projector marketing strategy, which is where this one was saved to, human design tips, content creation for projectors. And so I think that one's probably going to be the most aligned one for you right now. But what we want to focus on is also making sure that we are talking to the computer side of Pinterest. The pins actually are going to talk to not only the computer, but the user and what they're searching. But when you're looking at your Pinterest account right now, Pinterest as a computer and a code might not understand what it is that you're offering. We like to look at things with, I have a platform called Pin Inspector, and I'm going to pull that up here. It is a one-time payment for something like this. It's a software that you can download on a Mac or Windows. I have an affiliate link if anybody's interested or if you would like more information. It will be in the show notes. However, what's really cool about this is you can actually search for specific keywords and categories that Pinterest is using. We could actually go in here and start to say what we were just looking up, which would be the human design projector, and see if there's anything that pulls up for this search when we are doing that. And it'll take a second here, but what's really cool about this is it actually will tell us what some of the main interest categories Pinterest has for us. And so while it's still loading, if it lets me, I'll scroll over here. And so you can see the link and the category tree. Some of these are going to be very helpful in terms of you can see healthcare and manifestation here, right? And so that would be very, very helpful in terms of having a board that speaks to who that individual is, save the pin to something that is very relevant to what they are searching, but then also tell Pinterest, this is the main category I want my content to be shown in. And so then when we click and open this, we can look into, and I'll share that screen here. We can look into what Pinterest is saying. And so this is the category that opens. And it's under healthcare, which is amazing because it's the health of who we are. Manifesting generator human design. So now this talks to us about all these things that is already on Pinterest that people are talking about. It will also give us related interests in this area. It will also tell us other boards that are in this area. So human design, instead of generator, we can talk to specifically the projectors. And so you're going to want to make sure that when you create your board, they are specifically to this name, because this is what Pinterest knows for who is already searching human design, who is already talking as, I am a projector. I am looking for support as a projector. And so then Pinterest will be able to now show that pin that you created specifically speaking to that person and what they need in the right category under Pinterest lineage. So how does that sit with you, knowing that some of these might need to be altered just a little bit to better align with what we have? Actually, you could just create another one. Instead of projector marketing strategy, you could just do projector. And you could create another one that specifically says manifesting generator human design. And then any of your pins focused around that workshop, your blog posts, or anything like that, that specifically talks to projectors and manifesting and helping them with their content and their marketing can go to that board. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to narrow down the connection between manifesting generators and projectors. Like I can see how a person who's a projector searches for manifesting generator content.
Yeah, and so that might not be, it might be manifestation. It might be something that's different. Let's go back to that then. Let's dig deeper into that. So when they are looking at the lineage that Pinterest has put out right here, we see healthcare, right? And so that could be a board that you do that is very broad, but then the pins on it talk about manifestation projector instead of generator. Because when we looked at it, that was where Pinterest is showing the manifesting and human design content. We could also go in on our pin inspector and we can do another search for that as well. So what I can do is, instead of doing projector, we could just do human design and see what comes up. And so all we do is click clear, and then let's do 20 for sake of time and having it find everything for us. But then anything that you put as a projector can be put on these human design boards. And again, it's still telling Pinterest where they should be putting it and who to align with. And so you can see here it's health and then lifestyle and then human design. So now if I click on this one, then you can see this is human design profile and it's under lifestyle. Then this would be a board, human design profile. You can also see under here, human development. You can see other human design system, which could be a good one for you as well to post when you're talking about the types of things that you're going to be sharing for marketing and systems that they need to maybe have in their business. The other cool thing is you can click on these plus buttons and it will start to help you narrow that down. Now, keep in mind, you don't have the lineage anymore. So this may be a individualized created category, meaning someone posted content about it, right? And so you want to make sure that Pinterest still understands it, the computer, but this is also going to give you ideas that will help you more closely align the boards that you need to create to better tell and teach Pinterest where under their explore and their categories of the wide array of stuff that's on Pinterest, where to be found.
Okay. So basically when I'm like creating the pin, there is this section where you can put keywords or category or something like that. So in that category, I would basically put health, right? So that it can assign it to that category.
Yes, you can. So I am going to also distinguish that and say that if you are going to Pinterest and you are going to upload a pin on the Pinterest platform natively, then it will give you an option to do a static pin or the old idea pin format. Now, if it's asking for the categories or topics when you are uploading that pin design, that is considered an old idea pin format.
Okay.
Me personally, I suggest to get out of that and put all your keywords, all your targeting into your boards and your pin design, and then upload a static image. It won't ask you those topics because you'll have already taught Pinterest in the code where to show things by setting up your boards and your pins the right way. With the old format of idea pins, they don't show up in the code, at least in my professional opinion and what I've found. They don't show up in the code in a way that will best align with who you are trying to reach. So I would focus on the other pin format where you don't have to worry about the topics. Awesome. One of the things I do have that I do want to mention here at this moment is I do have a cohort program. So for yourself or anyone who is listening, I am launching it again. We do these every quarter. The cohort is a fast track to be able to help you better understand what you need to do in 4 sessions to make the most of your Pinterest account. So what we focus on is the first session, we go over crafting the right profile. So really setting up that foundation with your name, your keywords, and getting really specific on setting you up as the authority. Then the second week, we go and dig deep into what you and I were just talking about, the interest categories, what boards, what descriptions to put on your boards, and being able to look at the code in the back end to make sure that you're in the right area. The third session, we go into pin designs, which we touched on here, but we also talk about color SEO and how to make sure we're making the keywords stand out and explain specifically what actions we want the user to take. And then in the fourth session, we're going to develop a content calendar planner for you to be able to understand what your pillars are on Pinterest and know what to pin and when to pin so that you can get the maximum results, whether it's a launch or evergreen. Because I do know that you said this is a workshop that you are launching and how to be able to bring it back and use it again and again. So for anybody who's here that's listening or for yourself, my dear, if you are interested, it will be in the show notes. It is laurareich.com/cohort. And it is a 4-week long, 4 sessions. I only take 10 people. So we actually will go through an hour of these are the boards, right? So just like what we did with you, I would say, okay, we need these 5 boards and these 5 boards. And I will give you the exact titles. I will handhold everything through it so that you don't have to leave a training feeling like you don't know what to implement or do. We're going to implement on the call as well. So I know that we've gone through boards with you and we've gone through pin designs with you a little bit. Are there any questions in terms of making sure that it's leading to this lead magnet, this workshop that we haven't answered that you want to cover before we wrap up?
If I understand it correctly, the best way to find, let's say, the best keywords is to go through the tool you showed, right? Where you can basically see what people are searching or not, or where is it stored in Pinterest memory, I would say.
Yeah, that works the best. You can also do what we call ABC search. You can go right up here to the top and you can start typing in things like what we had started with in the beginning and just start seeing what pulls up underneath these. If it's aligned with what you talk about and what you share, then that is a keyword that would be good for you to work on. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today on the Pintastic podcast. I can't wait to see the changes that we make to help this workshop for you and grow those evergreen goals.
Thank you so much. These were great insights.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Pintastic podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and review on wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort. Until next time.